Hello and welcome, friends, to Afterlife Tales. Often we see that for kids, the most loved thing is their doll, and they play with their dolls all day long. These dolls are so cute that kids keep it with them, but if we see the other side of these dolls, then these dolls can also be demonic and scary sometimes. On my channel, I have previously discussed about the real story of the haunted doll Annabelle that you all loved very much, and I received a lot of requests to create a video about the real story of Chucky. Therefore, today I will be telling you the true story of another dangerous and haunted doll whose name is Chucky. This doll has cursed many families and destroyed their lives. And this video is purely based on the viewers' demand. So please subscribe to listen to the real life stories of more such cursed objects. Stay tuned until very end where I am going to reveal a very devastating fact about the doll Chucky. So let's begin. Curse of Chucky movie was released in 2013, which was the sixth installment of the movie series Child's Play. The first movie Child's Play was released way back in 1988, and the story of the film was very simple, in which we see the doll Chucky is a cursed doll that is sent to a family by post, and where it tries to kill several family members. The story behind possession of Chucky is shown in the first movie of the series, where a serial killer is being chased by police and he runs into a toy shop where he gets shot by a police officer. But before dying, the serial killer uses voodoo occult and black magic and binds his soul with a toy doll. And this is how the doll gets possessed by the evil spirit of the serial killer and then is also known as Chucky. The best thing about this movie is inspired by a real life incident. And in this video, I will be only discussing the real life story of the doll. In real life, this story is about Robert the Enchanted Doll. The doll was first received by Robert Eugene Otto, an eccentric artist and member of a prominent Key West family, by a servant in 1906 when he was just 6. It is said that the Key West family ill-treated the Bahman servant, and as a revenge, he used occult and black magic on this doll and then gifted the doll to Eugene. The servant was very skilled in voodoo and black magic, and he used Eugene's hair in this black magic practice on this doll and enchanted it before gifting it to Eugene. And only a few days of receiving this doll, Eugene Otto made the doll his best friend, and he kept the doll always with him all the day. And he gave the doll the name Robert, but because his own first name was Robert, his parents started calling the doll Robert the doll. Everything was going well up until one day, Eugene's mother heard him talking to the doll. Shockingly, the voices she heard were two different voices. One was of the Eugene, but the other voice was of a mature man. First, she thought Eugene is himself speaking in two different voices, but later she realized that it is not possible for a 6-year-old to speak in such a manly voice. Exactly after 3 days, her neighbors complained that they saw on the window of their house that Robert the doll was walking on itself in night. But surprisingly, in the previous night, the entire family was not at home, and they just left Robert the doll in the house alone. And the lights were off, so how can the lights turn on by itself? The neighbors also claimed that the face of the doll exactly looked like Eugene. This made the parents of Eugene believe that the doll is haunted, and they were scared of it. Several times they told Eugene to stay away from the doll, but he didn't listen to them. In fact, he now started taking the doll to the dinner table with him and gave him a chair of its own. In few days after this, Eugene's mother saw Robert the doll walking on itself and going from one room to another. When the doll saw Eugene's mother looking at it, he laughed a very evil laugh and lay down like a normal doll. Now, Eugene's mother have had enough, and she decided to lock the doll in a closet. Then she locked the doll in a closet of an empty room upstairs. And from the very next day, weird noises started coming from that room. Voices of someone walking, crying, and laughing was heard. Even after all this, Otto family were not throwing the doll out of their house because Eugene became lifeless after he was separated from the doll. That same night, a horrifying accident took place. Eugene's parents heard a very loud shouting from Eugene's room in the night. And as they rushed into his room, they saw all the things in his room were thrown around. Eugene was sitting on the floor and the doll was lying on his lap. When Eugene saw his parents in his room, he started shouting that all of this is done by Robert the doll, and if we lock it again in the closet, he will kill me. By looking at Eugene, it was quite evident that doll has gained complete control of Eugene's mind and he was in its control. Many incidents followed later. In some of them, their neighbors claimed that they have seen Robert the doll roaming on the street on its own. If any guests come at their home, they too hear scary noises. Years followed, and Robert the doll and Eugene became inseparable. His parents could not do anything to separate the doll from him. As years passed and Eugene grew up, so were the powers and evil in the doll was getting powerful. Later, Eugene married a girl and he then moved to a different city to do business. His parents took this opportunity and locked the doll again in the closet. In few years, Eugene's parents died mysteriously, due to which Eugene moved back to his old house. As he returned, he found the doll again, and again all those things started happening. His wife did not like his bonding with the doll and asked him to throw it away, but Eugene did not listen, and he reserved a room specially for the doll in their house. Their servants were not happy with what was going on in the house, and one by one they started leaving the job. Many believed that it was Eugene himself and he does this to scare other people. It all went on for many years, and in 1974, Eugene died, and right after his death, people locked this doll in a box. In next some days, new family came to live into the house that had a 10-year-old small girl. During cleaning of the house, the girl found the doll and became friend with her instantly, just like Eugene. But playing less than a week with that doll, she complained to her parents that this doll comes out of the closet and sits on the chair on its own and starts shaking the chair. Initially, the parents did not believe her, but later one night, they heard their daughter shouting at night. When they ran into her room, they saw that someone tied their dog with cable wire, and the doll was sitting next to the girl as if it was about to kill her. While crying, she told her parents that this doll was going to kill her, and the doll tied the dog with the cable wire. After this incident, the house was declared haunted, and it is still known as the Artist House, and people visit this house as a tourist location. Discovery Channel's show, Would You Believe It?, has also made an episode on it that showed this house. If we talk about this doll, now it is kept in the Fort East Marcello Museum in Key West, and it is believed that the doll is still haunted. It is kept in a transparent box in the museum, but the employees of that museum says that they feel some type of energy around it. One of the employee once opened the case of the doll for cleaning, and after the cleaning, he forgot to put the doll back into the box. The next day, when the museum was opened, the things inside the museum were moved, and the shoes of the Robert the doll were dirty with soil on it, like it was roaming in the museum in the night. Some visitors claimed that Robert the doll knocks on the plastic box containing it to scare the visitors. And if you want to take a photograph of the doll, you need to ask it first. If it grants the permission for the photograph by nodding its head, then only you can capture a picture of the doll, or else you don't. And if still someone doesn't listen and take picture of the doll, if it hasn't given the permission, then the person and his family members face severe consequences and hauntings. This museum has many letters filled with apologies and sorry note to the Robert the doll, because they took the picture of the doll without his permission, and then they are getting haunted by the doll. They are requesting the doll to take back its curse. And as I promised in the beginning of this video that I will tell you a shocking fact about the doll, here it is. In the starting of the doll's story, I told you that the Otto family did not behave well with the servant who gave Eugene the doll. The biggest reason for this is the servants were involved in the black magic and occult practices. And one day, Mrs. Otto caught 4 of her servants practicing black magic in her own home, and after which she ridiculed them and fired them immediately. and while leaving to take revenge, one of the servants performed voodoo on the doll and gifted it to her son Eugene and left. Eugene's full name was Robert Eugene Otto, but he gave his first name Robert to the doll and he called himself Eugene rather than Robert. His mother asked him to change the name of the doll, but he was adamant and he did not listen to anyone. So, friends, this was the shocking, tragic, and horrifying story of Chucky or Robert. Let me know in the comments what do you think about it, and please don't forget to subscribe. And also don't forget to mention what is the cursed or haunted object or place that you want to know the real truth of. Until then, take care.